Hey, what's up, fellas? Everybody, welcome back, Offsides Podcast. Before we get started, I want to wish my brother from another mother a happy belated birthday. It was yesterday. We all hit him up. But happy birthday, Pete. You know what I'm saying? The big 5-0 looking young.
Damn,
Yeah,
good.
Hey man,
yeah,
50 is the new 20, man.
bro. But
Yeah, that's what it is.
we gonna get together. We gonna get together and record a podcast on my other joint for about growing up in Brook Ave in the South Bronx. So for Pete to be at 50, he wasn't out there, moving ghost weight, but growing up there, they had shootouts all the time. So walking to the store, you could have got hit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it was different. We're gonna talk about it. We were supposed to do it. So we made the mistake, bro, that we were supposed to record on the wild card on Saturday, and the game turned out to be so good that we just never did. But anyway, Pete, how do you feel the day after your birthday? How you feeling, brother?
Good, man. Good. It's crazy thinking about it. It's crazy. I've been on my job in March. It'll be 25 years, so that'll be half my life in the same job. So it's really it's crazy.
I know the feeling, bro. Don't worry about it.
Appreciate it though. Appreciate it, guys. That was cool. Thanks.
June was good with you, man. Looking young. June look like he 23 all the time. I hate it.
Facts, bro. The dude got the serum. He got that serum, bro. He got that potion.
But let me tell you, man, I'm feeling older. I'm feeling like my birthday was with Pete. I'm feeling Pete right now. Pete feels young, but I feel Pete's age. So come. Now I feel good, man. I feel good. It's just here, just relaxing and enjoying the day.
James, what's up with you, man? What's going on?
Chilling, man. Like I said, I had that duty yesterday. I can't wait to I have no more duty days. Relax. But it's a blessing, man. Like I said, I'm here. I woke up. That's all that matter, baby.
That's a good feeling, bro. When you ain't got duty. So, Pete, what that means is, right, duty's different across the Navy, depending where you at. When you're on a ship, you got to stay on the ship for 24 hours. So you take over basically. So in case something happens on the ship or we got to get the ship ready to go underway, the duty section answers up until the rest of the ship comes in. So when you do that, you stay 24 hours on the ship. That means you got to sleep on there, And you're in Florida, right?
Yeah, man.
So it's better. Up here in the wintertime, bro, it's like you got to think it's a steel box. So if it's hot, it's hot. If it's cold, it's brick. Brick. You get out the shower, it's hot. In the shower, you hot. You're like, yeah. The minute you turn that shower off, open the curtain, bro, you're frozen, my G. Frozen. But yo, it's good to be here. Good to be on with everybody. I'm doing okay, obviously. Pete, I told you I was gonna take a shot. I don't know if you got one with you. I don't know if anybody else got one. But I'll take it for you, bro.
Appreciate it. Enjoy.
Yes, I am. Watch.
Good.
Let's get started. Yo, the weekend happened. Wild card. Before I go into any detail, I'm gonna go around the room. I'm gonna start with Pete. What's one takeaway you got this past weekend?
I think we said this a couple weeks ago. Maybe the first time we got on, I think we all was talking about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Really like Baker, man. I root for Baker, and I know he got a lot of shit when he first came out. And I look, and you see, you hear stories about him really being down to earth with the rest of the team, with the hanging out with the offensive linemen, and I like Baker. I like seeing that. I like seeing that these guys they play hard for him. So that's pretty much what I got from this weekend was Baker Mayfield. The feel good part was Baker because, like I said, I root for him. The other thing was watching Dallas get fucking smacked around at home, man. They're the birthday gift every year. They get bumped at the same time, bro. So Baker and Dallas getting
smoked.
Taken away from them,
I went and saw one of my partners. He retired 21, CW04. We was meeting up with him today for lunch because he's having triple bypass next week. So a few of us got together. Most of us are retired. 3 out of the 6, it was 3 retired and 3 still active, right? And the minute he gets out his BMW, man, he gives me a hug. He's like, man, Frank, I ain't seen you in a minute. He said, but what about them Cowboys getting waxed? I was like, that's the first thing out of his mouth, bro. He didn't waste no time. James, so what was your takeaway this past weekend?
Man, I'm an official Cowboys hater, so you already know The glory of my weekend was watching them get. You know what? And I ain't gonna say that, man. I'm gonna say this. We knew it, right? We talked about this. If you haven't shown us anything different in these big games that you come up, the big in, I didn't expect them to do nothing anyway. But it's just now it's more proven every time that they lose. Be like, listen, we trying to tell y'all they ain't it. He's not him and all of that. But that and Flacco took one for the team for the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? He's still playing for us, baby.
I'm gonna go with mine, and then I'm gonna pass it off to June. To me, man, the Texans really came through. I was surprised that. Well, no, we already said Baker, so I'm gonna leave Baker alone because I like Baker's commercials. You know what I'm saying? At home with Baker, I like Baker Mayfield. I think that he gets a bad rap. All over the talk show, so he get a big contract, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. And I'll save mine for that. I'll save that to that take. But I think for me, the Texans was the biggest thing that came out, and the way they played, the way they stunned the world. The rookie head coach with a rookie quarterback doing what they're doing, going into the divisional rounds, playing with house money. I mean, like we said before, they're one of the dangerous teams. It was between them and the Browns. Whatever came out of that one was going to be, and they just looked more complete than the Browns. Flacco being a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, and to have C.J. Stroud really outperform him, and not make the mistakes was really a culmination for they playing with house money. June, what's your takeaway, bro?
I have two, man. I have two.
Okay.
Of course. The very first one, I'm gonna start this with my squad, right? I'm gonna do things a little bit different. So I'm gonna start with my squad. I kind of had that feeling. You're right. I didn't have Super Bowl hopes for the Eagles, man. I really didn't. We had too many issues coming in, and Lane Johnson said something the other day. It was pretty cool. It's something that I didn't want to believe, but it was something realistic and really cool. And it was like, if we haven't showed you anything in 6 weeks, what do you think we're going to show you in the wild card? And is exactly his point was proven. We didn't show you anything, so don't expect anything to happen in the wild card. And going into the wild card, Devontae Smith, Mr. Heisman, he was the only one out there performing because not even Jalen was doing his thing. He was making dumb mistakes. He was folding under pressure. Regardless of the play calls, he was still folding under pressure. When he could have done other things. So at the end of the day, man, shout out to the Bucks and Baker Mayfield. Last time we spoke on here and I had changed my answer, I told you that the quarterback that I thought was the most dangerous going into the playoff was Baker Mayfield. And when he don't make mistakes and he's that poised, he could really shock the Detroit Lions. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there, he outplays Goff. Because Goff, as you've seen this year, he makes a lot of mistakes, but that's a different conversation. So yeah, at the end of the day, very very disappointing end of the season. So that's that. And I'm extremely happy for the NFC East Division champion, Dallas Cowboys. So let's give it up for the Dallas Cowboys, NFC East champions, baby. Let me tell you guys, way to represent. Dak, you came back, right? You came back when it mattered most, right? And you proved this right. You go out there and you lose at home. This is the first time that they lose to a number 7 seed. I think they were talking about, which is insane. What do you say to something like that? What do you say? Someone asked me, how do you take that loss from Jalen Hurts? And I said, let me tell you how I took it. I took it like Jalen Hurts had more playoff wins than the Dallas Cowboys had in the last 28 years. Damn it. That's how I took that shit. So hey, I'm never gonna sit here and not downplay the Cowboys. That I think they're not America's team anymore. Man, It's just happy. It's happy. I'm happy. I am happy. The Eagles lost on Monday, and I was still happy that the Cowboys lost the day before. So that's that, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Very upsetting for the Eagles. Happy the Cowboys lost. And shout out to Baker, and we'll see what this next week got planned for all of us.
Yeah, it's crazy. So with that being said, let's transition to the first topic. So with the Eagles loss on Saturday or Monday night, who is more to blame in the Eagles loss, Jalen or Sirianni? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start with I'm gonna give the NFC East guys a chance there, James. So I'm gonna go with Pete first, and then June, and then me and you gonna tackle another question. But who is the more to blame between the Eagles loss, Hurts or Sirianni?
I always go coaching, yo. I go coaching. Because their job is always to have the players prepared. And like what June said about what Lane Johnson had said, what are we going to show you that we haven't shown you in the last couple of weeks? And I use a baseball reference. This is when I first kind of figured out when you can go into the playoffs hot, and that shit could take you to the chip. It was years ago that I forgot what team it was that they weren't the best team in the league. They went into the playoffs. They went into the playoffs hot, and they carried that. Same thing happened with the Giants. They was a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
Both times they were wild card teams, and the momentum took them through. The Eagles kind of went in limping. You know what I mean? They went in like wounded, and it showed. You know what I mean? It showed, like June said, he really didn't expect much, and this is an Eagles fan saying that. So I put it on the coaching because it's their job to have them prepared. Jalen Hurts you've seen Jalen Hurts' fingers, like that shit was zigzagging all over the place, and he took off the glove, and he didn't seem like he had any problems throwing. So, and I know they said his knee was banged up during the year, but to not show up like that, and again they had to lose. You know, they lost 6 out of 7, I believe. But I put that on coaching, and I always put it on coaching, especially when they have a roster like that. If you don't have a good roster, like let's say the Panthers, they don't have a roster like the Eagles, but you kind of expect them to play like shit because they don't have the players that the Eagles have or the 49ers would have, or the Ravens that they have these good rosters. The Eagles have a great roster, and if it worked so well last year, what happened this year? So I put that on the coaches. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a bad player all of a sudden. I don't think AJ Brown, even though he didn't play, look what happened to Devontae Smith. He stepped up. That's the luxury of having 2 wide receiver ones. They have 2 wide receiver ones on that team. So AJ Brown is out. This dude, what did he have? 100. I think he had way over 100 yards receiving. So I don't put on the players. I'm always gonna go to coaching. Sirianni's at fault in my eyes.
June?
Yeah, I say I'm gonna agree with Pete for about 80%. You know, I'm gonna do 80-20 on this, right? I'm gonna agree with 80% of the coaching. I think it's just failure to adjust. And we brushed up on it the other day when we were talking about it, and what I said was I think the coach failed to coach when it mattered. It don't matter when you're 10-1. It doesn't matter. It matters when you're 1-6. When you're 1-6 and you're failing to do your job, that's when it matters, right? And I gave the analogy of when you're a recruiter and somebody walks through that door and they want to join the Navy, you're just doing your job. You're not really recruiting, right? But when you come across someone that don't want to join the Navy, so to speak, and you have to sell them, you have to recruit them. Now you have to do your job, right? In this case, he had to do his job as a coach, and he failed to make the necessary adjustments. And that's where the 80% comes in. He failed to make the adjustments during the toughest part, and it really showed. So 80% goes to him, and 20% goes to the players. Where am I coming from with this? The character, right? The way that they show their ass, AJ Brown, right? There's a lot of things that people don't need to see, right? which kind of clouds the locker room perception, so to speak. Like we all say, perception is reality, and that's what we see. That's what we're going to believe. So AJ Brown goes to a boxing fight in Atlantic City, but doesn't show up to the game to support his folks. What are we supposed to take from that, right?
Yep.
It could be Jason Kelsey's last game. What are we supposed to say from that? Where's the respect level as a player? When you're sitting at the bench by yourself, there's the 20%. And I'm talking about Jalen Hurts, and you got Goddard kind of going up to him, and they're feuding a little bit. There's a lot of feuds that again that the camera is going to catch on national television, and not to mention the play. You're a professional. You've been taught over and over. The mistakes have been there. You're Jalen Hurts, and I'm gonna knock on him for a little bit, because he's out there. At the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, when the players are called and they're not the right ones, and you don't have a man that's open, because it's obviously that you were looking at Devontae Smith. He had 146 yards. You were looking at him, so the trust was there. You weren't looking at Goddard. You weren't looking at Watkins. You weren't looking at Boston Scott, right? Because they were double covered, or they were manned up. Throw the ball away, my dude. And when you don't, you're gonna get sacked. You're gonna get those losses, and you're gonna get that safety. And that's where I said the 20% came in, 80-20. The coaching is gonna get a lot of the blame and most of the blame, but I'm not gonna sit here and not point fingers at the players, because they're out there making those plays.
So one more thing as far as my argument for coaching, they played in week 3, and I think Swift had like 170 yards rushing.
Oh my God.
Why did they not? So that goes to coaching. That game plan should have been like, yo, we're gonna run the ball until they drag this dude out on a stretcher. 40 carries for this guy. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be a boring game because they were gonna run the ball. And then they put the pass and run selection. I was like, yo, what are these dudes doing, man? Like, I would have ran this ball like just in. Jalen Hurts would have 5 attempts, bro. 5.
The first play of the game was like 11-yard carry.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
The very first play of the game.
Yep.
And then he goes to slants or whatnot, and then afterwards it went to shit.
So,
but I digress. That's that.
There was a head coach that said, "Players win the games, coaches lose them." I don't know if y'all know who said that, but I'll let you take one good guess at that one. But
yeah, I know who already said it.
Yes, my boy.
You must have read his books.
Oh no, yeah, I did. But he actually said that in the documentary that's coming out in February, The Dynasty on Apple TV Plus, which I did read that book.
Right.
You know, watch it, please. I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna talk about it. So do your homework. Anyways, going forward, James, you know, I saw this, and we can all talk about it. It could be all incorporated. Because I feel like this is June did something that made me want to ask you, right? Because he brought up leadership, and I always say it's easy to lead the people that want to be led, but it's hard to lead the people that don't. And leadership is really making people do things they don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? When I'm walking to the office and join. I'm just going to join anyways. It could have been you. It could have been Pete. It could have been somebody that was deaf, dumb, and blind. I'm still going to join. The guy that wants to be part of the program, that's easy leadership. They want to be there. Is the guy that doesn't. And I felt that part of that team that wasn't tackling. That team gave up on that coaching, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the leadership, I blame it on the coaching. I do. So with that being said, June said, throw the ball away, certain plays, right? I think a few weeks ago we said, what if Jalen doesn't have the confidence or doesn't know enough to be able to audible out and change the play? So in your opinion, James, do you feel like Jalen Hurts has been exposed? Like, this is what he is. Does he need a good team and a coach telling him what to do constantly for him to be successful? Or
yes. Oh, my bad. Keep going. My bad.
No, that's it. Because I'm gonna tell you what I think. But go ahead. Do you feel like he was exposed?
I feel like he was exposed, but in a good way. All right. These are some things that he can recognize within himself. But you need a veteran. You need a veteran to show you how it's done. If he doesn't know, I think he's playing a game purely on talent right now. And there's that edge you get when you got experience, when you got that, like you said, that leadership capability, that toughness. We all know he's a locker room guy. He tries to get those guys motivated because we see his pregame. We see how people are bought into what he's saying. But when you're not, you can see the rift between coaching and the players, point blank. Like, it was exposed this playoff run, or lack thereof. It was exposed because you should be able to make those on-field decisions. You are the coach on the field, just like we said CDO, right?
Mhm.
When the CO's away, you're it. You're the guy. You're making the decisions until otherwise told. So I don't think they gave him the opportunity or made him comfortable enough to do it. I think that's what it was. So you saw him uncomfortable with some of the plays on the sideline, frustration. I saw them looking at each other, like Kelsey looking at him like, what are y'all doing out here, bro? Like, they don't have the confidence or the experience to make decisions on the fly on their own to be successful. Because if you fail, and we saw it with James Winston, right? Making that decision and being able to say, look, that wasn't even on coach, that was me. But he took a chance. And I think once Jalen learns to say, you know what? I got it in me. I can make the changes. I can make the play calls based on what I see. Because they had some questionable calls that game, man. It could have kept them kind of close until it got away from them. And I'm like, as a quarterback, if you know that's dead wrong, you might want to go ahead and take the charge on that one and say, you know what? I saw something in a huddle after the play was after we made the call and we saw the defense setting up. I didn't like it and I audibled and it's on me. Like you said, coaches lose games, players win. I would instill that confidence in my QB1 to be like, look, you know what? It's the playoffs. It's on us. The pressure's on us. Make the decisions that you see fit, and I'll take the blame for that as the coach. But I'm giving you that confidence because now we know he's staying. Or I ain't gonna say we know, but for next year, now you're saying you added an element to his game. Why would you wait? Like let it all hang out, man.
I think he was exposed, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I think we use the word exposed, we take it negatively, right? Every quarterback, every player, I'm gonna stick to quarterback position, has a flaw, right? Brady, if you apply pressure up the middle, didn't allow him to step into the throws, and guys started hitting him, he gets uncomfortable, he hates it, doesn't want to get touched, it takes him out of his game. Peyton, you know, if he got impatient and you made him, he's gonna throw the pick, he's gonna make the mistakes. Phillip Rivers, the same thing. You start touching him, making him get antsy, he's going to start making throws that he don't need to be making, you're going to get picks. So I think that the exposure was good. But I blame the coaching staff for him not being able to audible out. Yep. I blame the OC for not sitting him down, the quarterback's coach. A lot of these coaches, whether it's Bill and Brady, Andy Reid and Mahomes, or Peyton and Tony Dungy, they sat down and game plan. You know, what are you showing him, Sirianni? You're an offensive coach. What have you shown this player to make him realize the coverage he's in? Or like they said, listen, you're the man under center. I think they gave him an extension last year off one good season. Then hey, put Swift to run the ball, like you said, 100-something yards rushing the first week 3. Why are we not going back to that? So I do think he got exposed. I don't think it was a bad exposure. You know, every quarterback has their limits. There's nothing wrong with it. The thing is, can we help the young man improve, and can we protect him from falling back into those things? I think that's where the coaching comes in. With that being said, we mentioned we're talking about the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Eagles. Now, the question is, and I'm gonna throw it to James, is would you give Baker Mayfield a long-term contract?
Oh, yeah. I honestly would. When you look at the QBs that are out there, he deserves it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude fought adversity. Like they say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. We talked about it before. Started the season off below 500, way below 500, and took the momentum into a season Eagles team and took it to him. Like, you got to give him that. You got to give him that, man.
What about you, Pete? What you got on it?
I definitely sign him, like you said. Look at the quarterback. What options are really out there to replace him? They don't have a high draft pick, even though that doesn't really guarantee anything. But I also think that one big factor is they got to sign. Are they going to be signed Mike Evans? Mike Evans is so a lot of his success is because he's got, Godwin's good too. Like that's another team that we talked about, the Eagles having 2 wide receiver ones. They're not too bad either with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So, but would I sign him? Yes. Now, is he going to get that $40 million that these guys are getting? That's another story. But does he deserve a long-term deal? Absolutely. With
So,
definitely
June,
the way he played.
are you giving a long-term deal? Yes or no?
No.
And why?
Because I believe in short-term deals.
Okay, I like that.
But what's long-term and short-term in your?
Yeah, you got to elaborate more on that one, kid. You just said
Yeah,
short
yeah.
term.
I
What you
believe in
talking?
I think a long-term deal is anything over 3 to 4 years. I
Okay.
think a short-term deal will be anything over 2 years with some type of incentive.
So
I think that's fair to the player. You know what I mean? You're not signing him for 1 year, because he could have a shitty year with shitty players. Like you said, if Mike Evans is not there, then you can't knock him for that. But then you find some replacements and you give him a second year to bounce back if he has that type of year, in my opinion. Now, long-term years, you keep Mike Evans and the success is there, you know what I mean? And you sign another wide receiver, so on and so forth. I mean, but they got a good receiving core over there right now.
So I would say yes to a 3-year deal, maybe 100 mil, 50 guaranteed. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
For 150 guaranteed, you break the other 50 up over 3 years. What's that? Do the math, bro. That's at least what? That's one. That's like what, 15 or some shit, like, almost 15 mil per year. That's not bad.
16.
16. See, look, 16 mil per year, and you're getting 50 up front. That's not bad for 3 years, and you can still resign Evans. Here's what I like about Baker, and people don't talk about. We talked about coaching. We talking about coaching we giving Jalen Hurts the benefit of the doubt because the coaching didn't do what they had to do. Baker's been on 6 teams. He was Browns, Panthers,
14.
Chargers, and now 4 teams in 6 years. But his first team, he took them to the playoffs with 11 and something record and won 1 game for the first time in the history of their franchise. I think since the 60s. Jim Brown was running the ball when they was winning games. That was the NFL. That was when the NFL and the AFL was broke up. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't even playing Super Bowls then. He never had consistency at coaching. He never had an OC that was consistent. They changed head coaches so much. So they cut him. And part of it was his fault. His attitude, his how he talked. At one point he had more commercials than he had touchdowns. But what happens when you give the number 1 pick overall all this success and throw this stuff at him? I don't know how he grew up, but I know how I grew up. And if I'm the first round number 1 overall pick and I'm getting guaranteed money and I'm doing commercials and this shit changed I'm doing Goya commercials, I'm in doing Bacardi commercials, I'm doing everything because I'm Puerto Rican, so that's what I'm gonna do, right? And then it's like, yo, that's money. I never had it before. Overnight, I went from a thousandaire to a millionaire. Then he goes to the Panthers. That was a debacle. We saw what that was like. It was him and Sam Darnold. And then he goes to the Chargers. He wins the first game out there. He comes in, wins it. And he wasn't there long enough. Now he's here with an off season. And look what he did when he played well. He had a good game. So yeah, I would give him a 3-year deal. And because I think he's a franchise quarterback, but I just feel like give him a 3-year deal, like June said. Hell, you could give him a 2-year deal with the 3rd year optional. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if you play well, we do. And if we could draft a good quarterback, a rookie to bring him in, like you said, have a veteran there to teach him. Because the thing is keeping Evans, and Godwin and people happy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think he is. I think he's a good quarterback. One of the topics was the McCarthy thing, but we already know he's coming back. Pete, you think Dallas made a mistake with bringing McCarthy back, or what?
No, it was more like, because the question I put out there was, do we really think that there was a chance Belichick or Harbaugh would have went to go work for Jerry Jones?
Oh yeah.
If McCarthy didn't go? Well, my answer was absolutely not. Like, they talk about it on TV, but it's like this dude, he had his issue with Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy Johnson won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But he wasn't getting enough of the credit. So he wanted to kind of start making decisions and shit like that. And that's what Jimmy Johnson was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. He won one more with Barry Switzer because that was still Jimmy Johnson's roster. All these years of him, and everybody brings up that they haven't won since 95 or whatever. Who's been making the decisions there?
Him.
Jones. And Jerry Jones is not giving that up. He says it's his team, he's the GM. So the talk on TV about that shit to me was just a waste of time because these dudes are alphas, Belichick and Harbaugh. They're proven. They're not gonna go work for somebody like that. Look, Parcells, that shit didn't work.
No.
Same type of coach, these guys. So that was my question as far as that. I know McCarthy's coming back, but that answers the question too. Like he wants somebody he's gonna tower
Control.
over. Yeah, exactly. So that was my thing. That was my question.
I tell you what, they were saying that the reason it was a look for Belichick more than Harbaugh because he doesn't have that much time coaching, and Jerry don't have that much time alive. So it's what's going to get me the ring faster, right? That's what they were saying. The dude's 80-something years old. Belichick's 71, 72. So the way they seeing it is Belichick going to try to coach for another 10 years, or is he just trying to get to the Don Shula record and then he's out? You know, he got the rings already. And I agree with you saying. I think Belichick did something at the end of the season or said something that showed growth in Belichick. He said, if I can stay here and if that means I have to give up some of the duties, then I'll do whatever's right for the team to stay in New England. So that just tells me that he recognized, hey, I want to stay here. And if I got to give up GM duties, then I'll do it and just focus on coaching. But I just think that what the owner said was so true. He's such a polarizing figure to bring somebody else in. It's not going to matter. You know, he's still Bill Belichick, right? But yeah, I don't think he would have went to the Cowboys. I wouldn't want him to go to the Cowboys. I don't. No, it wouldn't work, bro. Belichick, no, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. But June, do you feel McCarthy coming back was a good thing?
Yeah, I think it was. And this is where I go with what Pete said earlier and what you said earlier. Coaches, what do you say? Coaches win games or coaches
no,
lose games.
Players win games, coaches lose them.
Right. And in this game, and in this situation, it kind of cross, right? You guys are in this box is quadrant, right? In this situation, the coach won that game, even though they lost, right? And the player lost it, right? And with Pete, what he said about coaching, you know, when you blame the coaching for everything they do, I think they gave McCarthy the play calling. He called all the plays this year for him, and they kind of got it to where Dak was more comfortable with it, and you could obviously see that he was a lot more comfortable with it. Everything was clicking in the offense. I don't think the run game was there like it was the previous year with Pollard, which I thought they were going to use a lot more, but maybe his ACL, I really don't know. But I thought that was the issue. But no, I think McCarthy there next year, I think it's a plus for him. But they talk about firing him. I was like, man, these people on crack or whatever. But what surprised me is Dallas. You know what I mean? Dallas does some dumb shit. So, you know, they fucked around and had some Super Bowl bound underneath their jerseys on Saturday. God knows. You know, that type of stuff they do.
James, what you got on it?
Yeah, man, I think you keep them, man. To be honest, they just won the fucking NFCs, man. Like your adjustment isn't your adjustment is being able to get them over that hump and take them through the playoffs. So we say this every year though, like the Cowboys are a great team. They haven't found a way because teams are hungry. When you get to the wild card in the playoffs, bro, it's a whole different ballgame. You gotta bring that same game you bought, and any hesitation or doubt leads to a loss. So I say you keep them. I just say you gotta, work towards that postseason, game planning, because everybody switches their playbook up and gets dangerous in the postseason. You can't run those same sets and offensive and defensive sets. You got to change it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Need some spice. They need some spice to their play calling, man.
It's the quarterback, bro. McCarthy said, throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb twice. And he threw the ball to old buddy from the damn Green Bay Packers. You know what I mean? And one of the times he ran the shit back to the end zone. So
Yeah.
it was nothing to McCarthy there. McCarthy called the play, triangle. And then,
Madden.
and then old buddy hit triangle and he ran it back. So that's what happened.
Well, I don't know. I'm on the fence about him coming back or not. But I get it because somebody said if they bring Sirianni back, then they should bring McCarthy back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But with that being said, the Bills and Chiefs this weekend.
Rivalry. That's a fucking rivalry right
So
there.
should the Chiefs
I'm tired of watching them play.
the Bills going into this weekend? I'm gonna start with Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
Yes. You said should the Chiefs fear the Bills?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll bring up what I spoke about earlier is momentum. Right? The Bills were 6-6 at one point. They came all the way back, got the number 2 seed in the AFC. They got momentum. They took care of the Steelers with no problem. They went to Miami, took care of them to clinch the division, and they pretty much sent these dudes home, Miami, because there was no way they was winning in Kansas City when it was below 0. You saw the pictures, the beers was popping, frozen, and all that shit. They had no chance. So they kind of, when they won in week 18 against Miami, they were done. And their momentum is just the Chiefs absolutely have a problem this weekend, I think. But this is the new rivalry right now. These dudes are gonna play every week. Mahomes and Allen, they got two studs at quarterback. This is the first playoff game for Mahomes on the road, other than the Super Bowl. It's crazy, but I think this is not. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win because they have a great coach, they got experience, they got Mahomes, and they can find a way to win. And let's see what the Bills got because now they're kind of like the front runner because they got the home game. They're favored. So now it's Josh Allen's time. Let's see what you got. You see what happens. Anything can happen in these playoffs. Nobody expected. I mean, I didn't expect Dallas to lose in the first round. I thought they were gonna beat Green Bay because I'm like everybody here thinking, every year they're gonna get bumped. But did I think it was gonna happen at home to Green Bay? Absolutely not. But anything can happen. But Bills Chiefs, man, let's go.
June.
100%. I think the Chiefs need to fear the Bills. I think they're gonna lay it on the line. It could be the year that Diggs don't come back. I mean, shoot, every year he stands at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? It's bad, but it's true. He always stands there, and I feel bad for him. But if there's only one person that could lose this game, and he is the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. If he has a game like he had last game, which he didn't make any mistakes, they're gonna win this game. However, Frank, we always talk this madness throughout the season. If Josh Allen puts everything on his back like he has in the past, they will lose this game at home like they have before. And that's just my thing. So I think the Chiefs, I don't think that many people fear them anymore.
So before you answer, James, 0-2. That's the Bills in the postseason versus Chiefs. 0-2. Granted, those 2 games were in Kansas City, but in the regular season, he has a winning record against the Chiefs. Linebackers are hurt for the Bills. You know what that means? Run the ball, middle of the field. Kelsey should be able to make the game. We saw what the Chiefs. Well, we knew Dolphins was going to win in the cold. We knew that. But knowing that in the playoffs they're 0-2, knowing that the defense is a little hurt on the Bills side, does it give you the same? Do you? I don't know how you feel if they should fear him or not. But with that being said, do you think that they should fear him? Like, do you still feel like they should be feared or not? With that being said,
I definitely think they should be feared. I think, like P said, the momentum is momentum. We saw it with CJ, man. We were doubtful, like, you know what?
Yep. Yeah.
We were like, Houston, I don't know if they're gonna do it, but if they do, but you saw the confidence like I said, those last few weeks that he was pulling them out, showing his talent, and they got momentum and they got confidence. I think Patrick Mahomes better fear the Bills, and they playing at home. Yeah, he better fear them, man. Like you said, it was even a point in the season where we said, "Oh, yo, they figured Mahomes out. He's starting to cry. He's starting to complain every game. He's getting figured out. He better. It's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be one of the better playoff games because it's a rivalry game one, and the elements. It's so much added nostalgia to this game coming up, bro. It's going to be a good one.
I think they should fear him. I was watching a show and my favorite analyst on TV, Shady McCoy, said, "Hell, now what we talking about is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They don't fear nobody." And for years, and June could tell you this, man, I've been saying that the Chiefs were soldiers ahead of everybody else. Because everything matters when you land in the right situation. Things matter, right? You get the right coach, the right GM, the right owner, players, and you get a quarterback that's generational. And that can go so far. But other teams got to play catch up because they might not have it. Josh Allen, when he got to the Bills didn't have Stephon Diggs. They weren't what they are today. Patriots were on a downslide. You know what I'm saying? The Dolphins weren't where they're at today. The Chargers, look, they can't even figure it out with a number one quarterback and a defense stacked. You know what I'm saying? So the Raiders, it just they were so well put that by the time people start catching up, they were able to amass 3 Super Bowl appearances with 2 rings, 2 NFL MVPs with 2 Super Bowl MVPs. To where last year they figured it out to win without Tyreek. But they had Juju who had 1,000 yards. I think this year I think the pressure's more on Mahomes and Josh Allen. Than Josh Allen. And I'm gonna tell you why. I think that it's after what we saw with him crying on the sidelines, saying I don't lose 2 games in a row, walking up to Josh at the end of regulation, talking about, that was a BS call. The refs messed that up. Instead of saying, yo, congrats on the win, I think you start seeing that he's not as great as people think he is. It's just that he has a good coach, he has good weapons, and he could make the throws. You know what I'm saying? But I saw Stafford throw some sidearm throws this weekend. I've seen Stafford and other quarterbacks throw no-look passes to people. I've seen everybody do something that he does, and because he does it, it gets magnified. But I do think the pressure's on them because if they don't win against somebody that they normally beat and they don't win on the road, you know that the topics are going to be, because we're going to discuss it, do they have to play at home to win? Is it that he could only beat people when he has X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? Little things like that we actually talked about, we did with Hurts. Does it have to be a certain way for him to win? They talked about Brady when he went to against the Rams on the Patriots that Super Bowl 53. They had to go on the road and actually beat them in the AFC Championship at home. People was like, well, New England's never really done that because they was always the number 1 seed. So if you do it for other people, it's going to do it for them. So I think the pressure's on him, but I definitely do feel like they should fear him because I do feel like now they got a run game in Buffalo. They got a run game in Cook. Stephon Diggs needs to show up big time for me in this game. And they got Kincaid and they got Knox, 2 good tight ends. And I think this is the time to get them. I think that if you don't get them this year, next year is going to be harder because they're going to figure it out. Rashid Rice is showing up a lot more now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that pressure's there. It's not in the topic, man, but I guess I'm going to throw it out there. You know what? I'll add it to this question here. Who has the most pressure this weekend to get to the conference championship? I'm going to start with James first.
I'm going to go with your boy down in San Francisco, man.
Right? You think so?
Listen, man, he hasn't proven nothing to me.
Okay.
He had a good season and a half, but until once again, I'll go with Cam. He's a game manager, man. I don't think he's a game changer. So until we see him take this team deep and, win some, he has the most pressure, bro. It's looking like he's another regular season star that gets to the postseason and crumbles. I'm going to put him in the same category as a Dak. They look good, man. But when it gets to the pressure games and the playoff time, it don't matter. Like what you did in the regular season, it's okay, but we need winners. So I think he's got pressure on him, man. But you like they said, they playing with house money with him too. So he ain't getting shit right now anyway. So it's pressure on him to see if he's gonna get a nice contract.
Pete, what you got?
For me, it's Josh Allen, and it's everything. Kind of what we just spoke about. What you just pointed out was the fact that, look, you lost to the Chiefs. They changed the overtime rule because of that crazy playoff game. You lost to them last year. No, not last year. They lost them twice. But now you got them on your turf. You got them in your house now. You guys got the momentum. You guys are the higher seed. This is the time for Josh Allen to do it. If Josh Allen doesn't do it now, what are they going to be saying come Monday morning? Look, he had the Chiefs. He had them right where they wanted. This time they had him in Buffalo, and they still couldn't do it. Like Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs ain't the Chiefs, but what we've known them to be the last couple of years. When they had Tyreek Hill, when they had Kareem Hunt as a rookie, Kelsey was in his prime. He wasn't like all banged up like he is now. They was putting up 30 easy. I remember I remember this Patriots game. It was in New England. I think it was the opener of Kareem Hunt's first game.
Oh yeah, they spanked us.
Yeah,
they spanked us
because they had somebody who could take it all the way at each spot, each skill position. They're not that anymore. So if you can't beat them in your house the way they are now, for Josh Allen, they're gonna be like, okay, what's going on now? Because like he brought up Diggs. You don't think Diggs is gonna really want to be gone now if they don't make this happen and he don't get the ball this time the way he hasn't been getting the ball? My choice is Josh Allen.
June?
I think the pressure's on Jared Goff this weekend. They're playing at home. This is the furthest that team has gotten since 1893. They had a sold out, season, you know what I'm saying, for the first time in forever, right? Obviously they're getting a lot of coverage and all that great stuff, but I think the pressure is gonna be on him. And like I said earlier, we've seen him make those mistakes throughout the season, and he cannot afford one of those bad games right now in the divisional playoff against a team that they should beat. To keep it real with you, they should beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, but it's not going to be easy. They're not going to fold. So I think the pressure is 100% on Jared Goff.
I'm gonna go with somebody different, man. I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson. And the reason is he only has one playoff win. He's most likely going to have his second NFL MVP. Like we said about Josh Allen, if not now, when? If not, this is the weakest the AFC is going to be. Let's just put that in perspective. There's no Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Patty's team is barely making it. We don't know what the Chargers are going to look like next year with the new head coach. And Buffalo's there. So, and even them, they're not 100%. You said they got momentum, but, sometimes if Allen starts making decisions like throw the ball into double, triple, quadruple coverage and throw picks, now you're giving the Chiefs another chance to score. You know how that goes. You give them second chances, they can win the game. But I think that right now you got a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach coming into Baltimore in the cold. This is you're the number one seed. You got the best defense in the league. You probably got one of the best offenses in the league right now. Probably top two still around, right? You got one of the best quarterbacks. Receivers. Andrews is questionable, but he looked like he's going to play. Like, it's all on your favor. Everybody, they got to come through you. But you got to get past the division rounds. You got to get the 2 wins. Because Baker got 2 wins. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Brock Purdy got more wins than Lamar in the postseason. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would say the pressure's on for him because, like you said, what we're going to say come Monday morning, they don't win. They go Lamar again. Had an opportunity. They didn't get there. It's Harbaugh done in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? It's so perfect. It's set up for them to make that run that if they don't get it now, can they make it next year? Odell's older. You know what I'm saying? Andrews is a year older. You know, it's just so much there. I think that for me that they have the pressure because even he said it. The having the 2 weeks off kind of sucks, right? Because they didn't play week 18. They sat him, and then he had the whole week off this time. And he's like, now we got to go play. He's like, but Coach Harbaugh is keeping us. He's having us practice like we're playing for the next day. But you and I both know that that's not the same as being there Sunday or Saturday, going up against a team and actually playing because your defense ain't gonna hit you. Excuse me, they're not gonna hurt you. Where if I'm playing you and I'm on defense, my whole objective is to get you out the game. Kind of like the Eagles did to Brock Purdy last year in the NFC Championship. They deboed him, picked on him, bullied him, took his money, and took his girlfriend on at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Sent him to the hospital. But with that being said, I saw two things today. One was Belichick had his second interview with the Falcons. How you feel about that? I'm gonna go with Pete. Pete, what you think about that?
I just pulled up the wins, the coaching wins, and he has 302, and the record is 328. So he needs 27 to get first place.
That's regular season, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, combined, he only needs 13 more wins.
Okay, so if he needs 13 more wins,
Yeah,
he can get that in 2 seasons easily if he goes to Atlanta. They have skill position players. They got Drake London, they got Pitts, and they got Bijan Robinson. So I think they're set right there. Let's say they get Russ. I'm just throwing out a name. Let's say they get Russell Wilson. Let's say they get Justin Fields. I think they're set in the offense right there for either one of those two guys. Even if they get, let's say they get a rookie, and let's say they hit on a rookie. With those 3 guys right there, I think their offense is set. So easier path to wins in that division. The Saints coaching, we spoke about that before. It's not top tier. Who knows what's going to happen with Tampa Bay if they lose Mike Evans, if they lose Baker Mayfield, and then there's Carolina. So that's 2 easy wins every year.
they got rid of the OC and the Saints in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, look at that. So we
Yeah.
what's going on there. So
the owner. See, the thing about Belichick, a lot of these owners have respect from Jerry, Arthur. What's the dude? The Arthur Blank or
yeah.
He's which I didn't know he was the owner of Home Depot. He established
Yeah.
Home Depot. Did not know that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? This dude's got money. But they respect him. A lot of people do respect him as a coach. And they respect more about who he is. So I think your take was pretty good on it. I kind of, now that you put it that way, at first I was like, no quarterback, but I get what you're saying there. June, what's your take on it? Falcons or what?
Honestly, it don't even look right. You know what I mean? It just don't. I don't even know. It almost looks like you're putting on a pair of Nikes with some Adidas socks. It doesn't matter.
That is horrible,
just,
that's perfect analogy right there, That is perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought, me personally, that he was going to show a little bit more interest in the Chargers. But I don't know. When I read it, I was just like, dang, already? Like the dude just left. Like he left the exit doors of the Pats and he just got on the plane and just landed in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It was weird, So
I don't know. James, what I'm gonna ask you is Vrabel met with the Chargers. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't know about that one either, man. Like I say, some of these meetings could be strategic to get the league kind of, thinking about where these coaches are or where these figures are going. So I don't know. I don't like that though. They don't seem like a good fit either.
You know what, man? I think it's good. And I'm gonna tell you why the Vrabel one I think fits. We saw what he did in Tennessee when he was the #1 seed at one point in the AFC. Mm-hmm. He had some winning seasons with a mediocre quarterback in Tannehill. His defense was good. He's a good defensive-minded head coach. He was a player. With the weapons they got, as far as on defense, he goes in there and brings Who's the head coach they just fired from the Falcons? Smith. Arthur Smith, is it?
Oh, he was terrible.
Yeah.
But that was who he had success with Tannehill in Tennessee. Let's say he goes to the Chargers and says, okay, I'll run the defense, but you run the offense. They got Jay Herbo. They got Keenan Allen. They have some weapons. And then on defense, they got stars on defense. They got some dogs over there. I think it could work, man. I think, and Vrabel's a player's coach. Look at Dan Campbell, Lions, winning. Look at our boy Antonio Pierce, even though he, was defense against the Patriots in the Super Bowl and, hurt us. But still, down there, he changed the coach in the Raiders. And they told me he's the front runner to come back. So these players that are head coaches now are bringing a different sauce. The sofrito's different when they come to the game, and the players are willing to play and run through walls for them because you understand what it's like. You know what I mean?
But I think the problem with that is, right, we're in that era now where players, if they don't develop or do something within 1 or 2 years, we're not seeing them stick around long enough for that culture to shift in the player's favor as well. So, I just think it depends. It depends on how long your pieces stay, because everybody wants money now. It's driven by that. And 2, everybody wants to win right away. Yeah. So, like you said, they have successes, and then how they ended up, without jobs or fired or moving so quickly is because people want to win right away. We need, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the Dan Marinos, right?
Yep.
Dan didn't win nothing, right? But he was allowed to stay there and still thrive and see what he could do.
It was different then.
You're right.
That's what I said. Society
was
different too. We was loyal then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People, and let's be real, Marino was throwing for 5,000 yards with nobody. You know what I mean? Like when it wasn't a passing league. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's the problem in the NFL. I think a lot of our teams have been susceptible to that, right? Look at Dabo. They talking about Dabo now was being disrespectful, cursing out the OC, the DC, and you didn't hear none of that the first year. Now it's like this dude was out there cursing, calling that motherfucker this, motherfucker, like it's crazy. But I think it's the pressure that gets to them. And I think these owners, these billionaires, I'm not a billionaire, obviously. You know what I'm saying? If I was, we would be recording live together in my studio, in my house. You know what I mean? But we don't even like to lose in regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Like fantasy or if you playing basketball or, you decide to do a pickup game on a weekend because you think you're young and you want to be out there in the park playing, and you don't like to lose that, and there's no money on the line. So imagine these owners that go to the owners meeting. You got the Robert Kraft with the 6, the Steelers with 6. The Giants got what, 4? 4, yeah. The Chiefs got 3. You know what I'm saying? The 1 rings. You start looking like, and then you got the no rings, right? And then I take my owner, Robert Kraft. You went from dominating the NFL for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was getting your mail at the AFC Championship and at the Super Bowl at least every other year. The mail was coming in. To now, you're not even making the playoffs. You're not even having a winning season. And you got to walk into the owners meeting like, you can't talk your shit. You can't talk your shit when you're losing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happens, that these owners, I'm not saying mine because, look, it took them 4 years to fire Belichick. But the Jerry Jones, the Tim Irsay's of the Colts, who got rid of Wentz after Wentz having a good season. It fell apart the last 2 games and they got rid of him. That they want to win so bad that they don't give the team time to develop. Like you said, instant gratification. Everybody wants that microwave success and they don't got it. But I ain't got no more topics on the page. If anybody wants to add something to it, we can talk about it.
Yeah, man. Just to add to that, man. We see some of the greats leaving based on, this is a player's league now. This is a player's game. It's no longer an owner and coach's game where they're dictating every, move. Players have the I ain't even gonna say the power, because it kind of takes away from the element of the game. They have the options now to force their way out of contracts, force their way into contracts, demand things. And I think that's taking a toll on some of those coaches who had success before, but now, like Reggie Bush kind of called out Nick Saban and said, yeah, he no longer has power over 5-star recruits. That's why he's retiring. Like, yeah, he's walking away from the game because you got these NILs, you got players. They had a guy senior year of college, I think it was NCAA basketball, saying he wanted like 30% stock or ownership in the team prior to him being drafted. Like,
No, that's Caleb. That's Caleb.
Was it Caleb?
USC, right, June? Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
He's going. He said that whatever team he goes to, he wants ownership in a team.
You see what I'm saying? Without no production yet, you're going into that with that mentality.
It's
not allowed though. It's not allowed, so it's not.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that mentality to think that you're entitled to that without proving yourself doing anything yet. That's crazy. And I think all players are I ain't gonna say all, but most of the generational players coming in now have that mindset. Like, I want mine now. I don't have time to wait. I want my bread. Like, that's crazy, man. Prove yourself.
I think it was something I thought about, and I related to the military. So Pete, on the play call, every time we talk about these players went out of these contracts, right? Me and June often compare that. Well, all of us on the play call was military, so it's all of us compare it to when these guys sign a contract, but then because they're not happy, they want out. Like, yo, you enlisted for 4 years, fam. And I know when I did recruiting, I was honest enough to tell you, look, it's going to suck. You're going to clean a few toilets. Shit ain't going to go your way. You're going to miss your mammy, your pappy. You know what I'm saying? Your girlfriend might F around and leave you. It's just going to happen, bro. But this is what you signed up for. It is what it is. Then they get to the fleet, Pete, and then they got to go clean the toilet, and they never clean the toilet day in their life. They got to make their bed, bro, and they never done that. They got to follow orders, and they have a hard time with that. But then now they want out their contract. Yo, like I had one of my sailors had 18 months in, 18 months, not even 2 years in the Navy. Look at me with 25 at the time. My department had 30. The captain was almost at 20-something years, almost 30, I think, and looks at us and says, I served my time. I want out. Bro, no, you don't get that fucking option, bro. You sign this contract. This is what you're going to get. That's how I feel about these players. You know, they sign a contract, and now because things ain't going the way no, then give me back the $1 million. Give me the guaranteed money I gave you back.
Yep.
Run me my money back, and I'll let you out the contract. How do you feel about these players today that because shit don't go the way they want it to go, they quick to say, I quit and give up on the team?
Oh, who's that, me?
No,
Yeah.
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
No. I know how you feel. You military, man. To you, it's going to be like, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? But Pete,
whenever that type of situation comes up, and you hear about it a lot, these dudes don't, like you said, they want a raise, they want a new contract. So it always brings to mind Jalen Ramsey when he was on the Jaguars. Now remember, there was a game they lost to New England in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
They was good at that point. In the next couple of years they went downhill. So Jalen Ramsey was hurt. What happens? He was like, yeah, I got a back issue. What happened? He got traded to the Rams. He played that week. So it wasn't that he had a back issue. He was just like, I'm not fucking playing with y'all anymore. And he wanted a new contract and got that. So this type of situation always brings that to that. This type of thing always brings me to that situation is that he wanted out, and he got his way. He forced his way out, faked an injury, and as soon as he got traded, he was good to go. So that like you said, just going back off of that is that these and James said it too. They have the options now. Look, he sat out. This isn't the NBA. He sat out, was not playing, and then as soon as he got traded, he was good to go.
So we investigated on the play call, man. We actually, me and June went to the facilities in Jacksonville because June's in Jax, and we sent Nikki and Bree to the facilities in the Rams, and they have a special tub in the Rams that if you get in it, it's so like hot and cold at the same time that all your back issues go away, and that's what he got in. And it healed him, bro, like instantly. It healed him the minute he got over there.
You talking about a hyperbaric chamber?
Nah, I'm being funny, Pete.
No, there is something though.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, I was being funny, man, because
okay, I got you.
we talked about it. We was like, all of a sudden, the doctors are better in California than they are in Jacksonville, you know? You're right, man. And that's the issue I have. I have an issue with that because I'm gonna put it to where we all at, right? Let's say you're walking down Brook Ave and it's you, Nito, and Jumbo, and 3 or 4 dudes pop up, they want to press y'all. You ready to get it in, and you turn around and Nito and Jumbo gone. You're like, wait a minute, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, in your mind, I'm going to war with my boys, because that's what it is when they got in that football field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For us, is when we go out to sea and we deploy, that's who we going to war with. When June's doing his job as a recruiter, when he was doing it, and we working these 12, 15, 16-hour days, and you thinking, look, I'm not by myself. I got my guys with me. And you turn around, and they're not even trying to pick up the phone or call somebody. That shit right there, it just pisses you off because you're not fighting with me. You know, you leave them out to dry. I just don't respect that with them kind of guys, man. Like Jalen, anybody else like that, man. Because these guys, you got to think, hell, DeMar Hamlin died on the field. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? And for you to turn around and kind of drop the ball and drop your pack on your team because you're not happy, I don't respect that, man. I don't. And it says, to me, it says a lot about a person's character. But anybody got anything else you want? Like any other topics, any other things, you know what I mean, you want to talk about? So we kind of went through fast.
I had something. I know we all had kind of like a different quarterback when we said who was going to have their struggles this weekend, right?
Yeah.
But one person that we didn't talk about was Mahomes.
I said pressure. I said what
pressure.
Yeah.
But we didn't say Mahomes, right? And as everyone was talking, I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I think out of everyone here, you see how he reacts when he loses 2 games. I mean, shit, the end of the world. In my opinion, I think he's right up there with any one of ours when it comes down to the quarterback pressure. Pressure bust pipes, man, and that guy's pipes are thin. They got some screws loose at the end. You know what I mean? I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you got Jason. You have what's his name? Travis Kelce dropping passes in the last game, easy passes. He's dropped the most passes this year than any other year.
Taylor Swift, blame her, man.
She's putting it on the dude, you know what I mean? Like I always say, put it on the dude. But I think a lot of pressure is going to be on him, because he's trying to make it work with what he has. So I think that's just a quarterback that I think he's right up there with any one of our quarterbacks that we chose. Because I was just thinking, like, dang, my guy's going to Buffalo. And even though he did play when it was cold as hell and his freaking helmet
got cracked, yeah.
Insane. Oh, that shit was
What's crazy about Mahomes though is when he's good, he's fucking good. And
That's
when he's
scary.
bad, he's bad. So, like you give him some momentum and some confidence, it turns the table a lot. And once again, Cam says those game changers, and Patty can be a game changer, bro. He can get you down that field in 2 minutes and win a game for you. Like, it ain't too many quarterbacks who can, like put together offensive drive and just do some crazy shit. So yeah, you're right though. I mean, like I said, I think that's gonna be the game to watch this weekend. That thing is gonna be, that's gonna be crazy.
I think we didn't pick. None of us picked Mahomes because he's the only one who's in the playoffs right now that's won.
Yeah.
He has 2 chips. So I wouldn't have picked. I picked Josh Allen because I think the Mahomes is the hump he has to get over.
Yeah.
So Mahomes having 2 rings, I'm not saying he don't want to win, but in our offense, I don't see him as having as pressure as much as the guys that we mentioned because they want what he got. He got MVPs of the Super Bowl. He got Super Bowl rings. He's the only one who got it that's still alive in the playoffs right now.
That's a good point, man. That's definitely a good point. That he knows what it's like to get in the trenches and win it all. So yeah, Josh don't know that yet.
Josh wants it. Lamar wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe that's why the pressure is on him, because he has all those accolades. So now he feels as though, like, I have all these accolades. I got to make sure to show them that I ain't no fraud.
Yeah, he
So
wants to
now
get with Brady.
the pressure is on.
Because what's crazy to me is this: if Josh beat him, if Josh beat Patty, that's still only the second round. So what if Josh get bumped next round? It's nothing. Like, so I get it. He wants to beat Patty, but
Right.
he gotta go. He gotta go to the promised land then.
More than that, you don't get a ring for beating Mahomes.
Yeah, ain't no ring involved, man.
I think it's not. I don't call it pressure on Mahomes. I think what we're seeing is that he is not as perfect as people thought he was, right? And what I mean by perfect is we don't see. I'll give you an example. When we first saw Brady go at Bill O'Brien on the sidelines, people were like, "Oh my God, look at Brady cursing out the head coach." Or when you see Brady throw a tablet or break one of them tablets, you're like, "Oh my God, look." When we see certain characteristics out of a person in a game that we normally don't see, we start seeing the cracks and the kinks in their armor. So I don't think it's pressure. I think Mahomes, look, and as much as I hate to say this shit, they went to 5 AFC championships in a row. 5. So if he has any pressure, the pressure is that he has to make it to 6 in a row. Whether he loses the 6th one or not, he's got to make it a 6 to keep the consistency going, right? Going the trend going. But I think Mahomes knows in his heart this team isn't built to go win one. You know what I'm saying? I think they have the pieces, but I think they're coming around too late. Rashid Rice is gonna be that number one guy he needs to help Kelsey out. But I don't think right now is gonna be the thing. We know Kelsey's banged up. Their defense is good. Pacheco runs the ball crazy hard. Pause. Like he hits the hole hard as hell. Pause. He's going through. He is not stopping, and I like it. But I think for him, he's not playing with house money, but he's playing with what y'all gonna say. So I don't make it to the AFC Championship this year. Y'all gonna say we whack. So next year when I come back and I'm in the AFC Championship, I don't want to hear nothing. Next year when I'm winning my division again with no problem, I don't want to hear nothing. When I'm in the conversation for MVP, I don't want to hear nothing. However, I know, and we all can say this, to consistently win is hard. To win Super Bowls is hard. To get to a Super Bowl is hard. It's not easy to maintain that level of success consistently. So now the Chiefs are starting to realize that. You know, Andy Reid knew that because of his success on the Eagles. He knew it wasn't easy to get to the Super Bowl. He went in 4 NFC championships, only won 1. And then lost Super Bowl. So it's not easy. But those players, Mahomes starting to realize that shit. They starting to realize. So for me, I think it's more if they do not get past the Bills this weekend, how is he going to respond next year? Because it's easy to regress, you know? Like Joy Taylor said, it's a Super Bowl hangover. Even the winning teams get it. You know, the Eagles were part of the losing team. I think there was only one team to go back to the Super Bowl after losing it and win since the Super Bowl era. Only one team.
Yeah. And the toughest thing about football and winning is it's played on both sides of the field. So you don't have control when that defense is out there. Yeah. You can only control your portion of the game. So he could have a great game, but the defense could have a worse game and give the fucking game up. So, but like you say, the focal point is always going to be that star guy. So even if he plays great and they lose, it's on his back anyway.
Mahomes, he's set, man. As much as I hate to say it, he's one of them guys that they're already saying he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. Already saying.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? He don't own that one record. I don't think he owns maybe rookie touchdowns, but he don't own the most NFL MVPs. He doesn't have the most consistent NFL MVPs back to back. That's Brett Favre with 3. He hasn't repeated. No team has repeated back-to-back Super Bowls since the Patriots. He hasn't done anything other than be great to make you feel like that. Is he a Hall of Fame? Obviously, he's gonna get in. He got 2 rings, bro. He's
Right.
getting in. But is he a first ballot? If he retired right now, Pete, is he a first ballot Hall of Fame?
I think, yeah, because it goes back on what you were saying. Like we all the stuff that he does now that they put on ESPN, you've seen other guys doing it before, but because he's doing it now, they kind of like glorify it. He's the darling right now. So I said it a couple weeks ago that Stafford was doing no look passes, but Stafford was on the Lions. He wasn't winning.
Yeah.
Holmes came in. He threw 50 touchdowns his first year. They go to the Super. They lose to Brady in the championship game. So, yeah, he's getting in. He's getting in first ballot, bro. It's yeah. And what you just said about the stuff that he hasn't done yet. I'll add yet to that because he's still got a whole lot left, whole lot of years to play still. So he's gonna be up there when it's all said and done.
Anybody else got anything else they want to add?
I think he'll get in unless he goes to Denver Broncos and coaches for old buddy, and then he gets traded and they give him a whole bunch of money.
So you said Russell Wilson possibly. What about Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh?
That was just like more. It was more.
Yeah,
like
I know. But I'm throwing that out there. I think the Justin Fields to Atlanta makes more sense than I think Russell to Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. I think
there's going to be a QB carousel like it's this year as well.
And I think because he'll get what he had in Seattle, a strong defense. Instead of having 1 running back, he'll have 2 good running backs. He'll have a good wide receiver like Lockett. You have Pickens. He'll have Deontay Johnson. They got Freiermuth. I think it's perfect, man, and Vrabel. So I do have one last question that came to me. And I didn't put in the notes. I'm sorry, but it just hit me. And I guess will be the last topic of the night. 17 seasons without losing. And them 17 seasons won Super Bowl.
Tomlin.
Yeah. Been to the playoffs a few times, but I don't remember the last time they won a playoff game. I should have did my research. I apologize. My production team sucks. My son's Frankie's at Sharice's house, my daughter's house. So I don't got the production team like I had last week. In your opinion, I'm gonna go around the room. Do you think it's time for Tomlin for a change? Or do you keep him because of the winning seasons? I'm gonna start with James.
I say it's time for a change, man. 17 years, bro. Like I get it. He's a solid winning seasons. That just means you're over 500. But yeah, I think it's time for a change, man.
17 years, bro.
Pete, what you got, bro?
Just because of how the Steelers are, they went from Chuck Noll to Cowher, then to Tomlin. I don't think that's not the way they rock. I mean, it hasn't it's not like they've been ass. That's
right.
They haven't been bad like the Panthers. They haven't had a 0 and an 0-16 season like the Lions did. They've been decent. And like I said, I think last week, it's not everybody's team is not going to be at the top every year. It's going to be peaks and valleys. And, this could be one of the valleys, but look, he still has winning seasons and he still makes the playoffs. Now, they don't make any noise in the playoffs, but like you said, it's not easy to win in the NFL. And he's consistent. A lot of teams would love to have that consistency. So I would keep him.
To me, and before I pass it to June, right? Franchises have a reputation, a culture, let's say, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers have 6 Super Bowl rings. They're not an organization of losing or just, hey, we're going to win regular seasons to win regular seasons. I think that he won a Super Bowl based on the fact that Bill Cowher just turned over a year after winning the Super Bowl, so he still had carried over. Big Ben was a young quarterback at the time. He is a defensive head coach with a defensive-minded team. Things just went their way. So with that being said, June, if you was the owner of the the Steelers, knowing that they only had, 3 head coaches their whole franchise. How would you feel about that? You got 6 trophies. The Patriots caught up to you, and you had a head start of 4. The Chiefs are 3 away from where you're at, which is still a lot. But the way football is nowadays, you never know. It could be good in the next 10 years. What do you do? Do you stay with Tomlin because he has a winning season, or do you say, hey, listen, I appreciate you, but we need to bring some new flavor in here?
I think out of respect, right? I think what they've done was they had the conversation and they gave him that extra year. That's why he's coming back next year, right? So out of respect for what he's done, and though he hasn't gotten those crazy accolades after that initial Super Bowl, he's shown that he's a coach and he's able to adjust when adversity hits, right? We had all these issues that happen. Something crazy happens with that damn team every year. I can't tell. It's mad crazy, right? Even when it's going good, something finds its way to go bad. However, they find a way to somehow make it 500 and make these playoffs somehow, right? So, I mean, it does get very frustrating and becomes very flustered. So, out of respect, out of the whole situation of what he's done and what he's able to do after all these situations and issues, yeah, take this extra year and let's close this out with a bang.
All right, real quick, we'll close it out and we'll do picks. I'm just asking around the room. Who you got on who you got this weekend? Pete.
Oof, I don't know if you want to hear what I got to say after I said, I was thinking in the Texans game. I was like, damn. I said I don't see it, and look, they fucking waxed these dudes. So, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know, because if I say it, watch the opposite's gonna happen. So I don't even want to say anything. I would think San Francisco.
Okay.
Is gonna roll. I think the game. I know everybody's focused on Bills Chiefs, but I want to see Bucks Lions. I want to see what that's about.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens over Texans. They're non-favorites, but I think Texans cover the spread, but I think they're going to lose. I'm going 49ers over Packers. Man, something in my gut saying go Bucks over Lions, but I'll go with the home team. They favor 6.5 points, and I think this is Josh Allen's year, man. I think he's gonna flex in front of Patrick Mahomes and wipe his jersey off and be like, "Yo, I've been that dude." So I'm going Bills, Bucks, Niners, and Ravens. James, who you got? You're muted, bro.
Well, obviously, you already know I'm gonna go Ravens. I'm gonna go Niners, just because I don't think that's. I'm not gonna say it's an easy win, but I think that's they'll win that one. I'm gonna go Chiefs, and I'm gonna go Lions.
Dang,
Bro, that's if the Chiefs make it to the AFC championship, you might have problems in your hands, bro. I'm just letting you know right now.
I know. I told you when we talked about this, we said who's the most dangerous QB.
Yeah,
and I said Patty because you can't count him out.
Yeah, June.
I got the Bills, the Ravens, the Niners. It's crazy because I had the Bucks initially, but I did go with the home team. I think the Lions are gonna squeeze that off by a field goal. Yeah, that's what I got this weekend.
All right, man. Well, look, another good episode. I'm gonna go around the room like everybody say the little topics. I'm gonna go first, man. You know what? I'm proud. The vibe is dope. I like it. I look forward to it. The topics are good. Sometimes I feel like we're reading each other's minds, and maybe because I send the topics out. But it's like as I transition to one topic, either Pete, June, or James is picking up, and or you're guiding me in that direction. So I appreciate it. So tune into the Offsides podcast next week. Like, subscribe, follow us on the Play Call too. Also, Pete's gonna put out the videos when he gets it all together. So give it time. We're gonna be dropping them. And when it comes, it's gonna be ready. I'm a Pat. Also, happy birthday again, brother. We ain't talking a long time, bro. I think the last time me and you talked was, I think at Pedro's. No, we talked at Dwell's party in New York City. Remember?
Yeah.
That was, I
last
think.
time I seen you. That's last time I seen you.
Yeah, that's the last time we seen each other, right? And but we grew up together. I'm younger, so I always looked up to him, my cousin and Nito, running around. You know, me and Dora, the younger one. So it's good to have you on here, bro. It's good to reconnect. And happy birthday, man. It's good to see you hit 50. Miss you many more. James, I'm gonna let Pete close us out. So he's gonna go last. So it's going James, June, and then Pete.
All right, yeah, man. Once again, dope, man. Always good to get on, chop it up, get everybody's perspective. And look, CDO turn over the Exo on the ship. He gives me some guidance for the day, right? So he always puts something positive in there because he says, plant seeds of positivity, right? So he gave me one today. I'm like, that's dope. I'm gonna use it on the podcast tonight. So yesterday's groundwork is today's success. So what's done yesterday, what we learned from it, what's beneficial from it, is the reason for our successes in the right now. So, man, appreciate it once again, bro.
June?
Yeah. Another week. Another couple of disappointments. But I don't look at it like that. Look at it as a lot of lessons learned. Because there's a lot of positivity, man. The only excitement that I have, and I slept very well, is the Dallas Cowboys. They lost on Saturday. So extremely happy about that for you Dallas fans. It's what you get. You know what I mean? Way to represent. But all jokes aside, man, hey, happy birthday, Pete, man. James. So James and I, real quick, we got something cooking or whatnot. We were able to put our powers combined like Captain Planet. You know what I mean? We put our powers combined. He got his business, I have mine, and we're gonna bring out something pretty dope and unique. So we'll have it in the next week or so. By the next podcast, matter of fact, we'll have something out there. So hopefully. So other than that, hey, it's a blessing to be here, Frank. Good to see you. See you next week.
Pete, go ahead, close it out, brother. Bring us home, Pete. Let's go.
Yo,
Bring it home.
Thanks for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it, guys. Like James said, there's good chemistry on here. The only one I've ever met is Frankie, and I just met you guys, and it's like, and again, like he said, we're all on the same page. We all have good thought processes towards these topics that we share. So you had a little quote. I have one as well. And Frankie, you may have heard this one. Losers focus on winners, and winners focus on winning. And that's it for me.
I like that. All right, yo, this Offsides Podcast. See you next week. Peace.